You ever check the change you toss in that old kitchen drawer or the coins rattling around your car's cup holder? Most of us don't think twice about pennies. But what if I told you one of them could be worth over $1 million? That's right. One single penny from 1982. No mint mark. No special case. Just sitting there quietly, a ticking treasure waiting to be found. Today, we're diving deep into the mystery and value behind the 1982 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny. Its market value has climbed as high as $1.2 million. Yes, million with an M. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, why this penny is so rare, and how your everyday pocket change might be your ticket to financial freedom. But before we dig into what makes this coin so special, let me take you back to a moment that changed everything for me. A few years back, I was helping my dad clean out his old garage. You know the kind: stacked boxes, rusted tools, forgotten memories. I found an old coffee tin labeled penny jar. Thought nothing of it. But my dad chuckled and said, "Some of those are from the 70s and 80s. You never know what they're worth." That little tin started my obsession. And that obsession uncovered one of the most valuable coins in U.S. history, the 1982 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Since then, I've met collectors, coin dealers, even a guy who retired early because of one tiny copper coin. So now, let's peel back the layers and understand how one year, one design change, and one small omission turned an ordinary penny into $1 million legend. 1982 was a strange year for the U.S. Mint. It was a transitional year and one of the most complicated in coinage history. Up until that point, pennies were mostly made of 95% copper. But rising copper prices were making it more expensive to produce a penny than its actual face value. So the mint decided to switch to a cheaper composition, copper-plated zinc. Now here's where it gets interesting. In 1982, both copper and zinc pennies were struck. And not only that, but there were 7 different variations made that year. Different weights. Different compositions. Some with mint marks. Some without. It's one of the few years where you'll find coins made from 2 entirely different metals. That's already unique. But it's the no mint mark 1982 small date copper penny that flips the game. Only one of these has been verified. That's right, only a single authentic 1982 no mint mark copper small date penny is known to exist, just one. Imagine being the person who finds the second. It all comes down to 3 details: the date style, the composition, and the missing mint mark. First, the date. In 1982, the mint used 2 different styles for the number 2, a small date and a large date. The small date has a delicate, more compact look, especially noticeable in the 2 and 8. Look closely, this matters more than you think. Second, the metal. You need the coin to be copper, not zinc. And here's how you test that at home. Drop the coin gently on a wooden surface. If it sounds high-pitched and tinny, it's zinc. If it gives a low, solid ringing, chances are it's copper. And finally, the mint mark. Or rather, the lack of it. If your 1982 penny has no tiny DRS below the year, it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Most of those were zinc. But if yours is copper, small date, and no mint mark, congratulations. You may be holding a coin worth $1.20 million, because verifying its authenticity is no walk in the park. In fact, even professional coin graders have been fooled. Let's explore why. Sell your coin for its true value. You need proof, professional grading from trusted organizations like PCGS or NGC. This isn't something you take to your local pawn shop. We're talking serious collectors, national auctions, and private sales involving top-level experts with years of experience. You'll need to weigh the coin on a digital scale that can read to 2 decimal places. A copper penny from 1982 should weigh about 3.11 grams. Zinc pennies? Around 2.5 grams. Even a slight variation can tip you off. Once you've got that weight and that small date style, then it's time to submit it for grading. If it passes, you've just stepped into a new tax bracket. Let's trace its rise. Back in the early 2000s, people dismissed the 1982 pennies as too common. But around 2016, a verified small-date copper penny with no mint mark surfaced, authenticated by a professional grading company. It sold for nearly $18,000. Fast forward a few years. More collectors start realizing how rare this variant is. And with only one confirmed, its status exploded. A private collector offered $1.2 million to acquire it, cementing it as one of the most valuable modern Lincoln cents. The combination of rarity, a transitional mint year, and the mystery behind how it was even produced has driven its price to astronomical heights. But there's something even crazier. Some experts believe there may be more of these million-dollar coins out there, hiding in drawers, jars, maybe even inside your own home. Collectors around the country have taken up the search. Stories are popping up everywhere. A guy in Ohio found one inside an inherited coin collection. A woman in Florida went through her late husband's coin stash and discovered a rare variant that netted her 5 figures. People are now buying rolls of 1982 pennies off eBay and Craigslist just for a chance to find that one missing treasure. Coin roll hunters, as they're called, comb through hundreds, even thousands of pennies looking for that perfect storm of features. You don't need a whole collection. Just one coin. One right penny. That's all it takes. But here's where things get wild. Some believe the government doesn't even know how this coin was made. Was it a mistake? Was it intentional? Or is it a ghost from a forgotten batch? Those coin experts have long speculated about how this penny came to exist. The theory goes that during the transition from copper to zinc, a leftover copper planchet accidentally made its way into the striking chamber. Others argue it could have been an experimental run that somehow leaked into general circulation. Whatever the truth is, the U.S. Mint has never officially confirmed its origin, which adds even more intrigue and value to the find. With only one known, and potentially more hiding in plain sight, this coin has become a modern American legend. So next time you're sorting change, flipping through a jar, or just cleaning out your glove compartment, take a moment. Look at those pennies. Really looks. Check the date. Look for that no mint mark. Test the sound. Weigh the coin, because somewhere out there, someone's going to find the second 1982 no mint mark small date copper Lincoln penny. It might be tomorrow. It might be next year. But someone's going to hold $1 million in their hand, and not even realize it until it's too late. Hey there, coin hunters and curious minds. Imagine this for a moment. You're rummaging through your old coin jar, just looking for a quarter to get your morning coffee. But instead of 25 cents, you find a penny, a 1963 Lincoln Memorial penny with no mint mark. You think nothing of it. It's just a penny, right? But that tiny copper coin could be worth $1.3 million, yes. You heard me right. Today, we're diving deep into the world of the 1963 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny, a coin that's taken the numismatic world by storm. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, why collectors are paying millions, and how one penny can completely change your life. Because in the second half of this video, I'll reveal the exact details that separate a common 1963 penny from a multi-million-dollar coin. Miss that, and you might just pass over a small fortune sitting in your pocket. The Lincoln cent is no stranger to American hands. Introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, this was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. And not just anyone, but one of the most iconic presidents in American history. Fast forward to 1959. The reverse design is changed from the wheat ears to the now familiar Lincoln Memorial, marking Lincoln's 150th birthday. From that point, we entered what's known as the Lincoln Memorial Series, and the 1963 penny was part of that design lineage. Millions were minted. Pennies were everywhere. They jingled in lunchboxes, jukeboxes, and grocery store counters. The answer lies in a mix of rarity, condition, errors, and history. You see, coins minted in Philadelphia, historically, don't carry a mint mark. So when we say a 1963 no mint mark penny, we're really referring to a Philadelphia minted coin. That by itself isn't rare. But here's the kicker: what's inside that coin, how it's printed, and the condition it's in, that's where the value hides. There's a particular variation of this penny that collectors are going crazy over. Not just any Philadelphia penny, but one that was struck with such precision, clarity, and in such pristine condition that it stands out as nearly flawless. We're talking about something that would be rated MS68 or higher on the coin grading scale. Think about that for a second. Out of the over 750 million 1963 pennies minted, only a handful have survived in museum-grade quality. That's like winning the lottery with a penny. Let's dig into that condition. Coin grading is a science, and it can mean the difference between 1 cent and $1.3 million. The Sheldon scale, which ranges from 1 to 70, is the standard. If your 1963 penny is dull, scratched, or corroded, it won't fetch much. But if it has full red luster, sharp strikes, no contact marks, and is preserved like the day it was minted, then my friend, you're holding gold. Or more accurately, copper gold. There's a record-breaking 1963 penny that was graded MS68 red by PCGS, the leading coin grading authority. It sold at auction for hundreds of thousands, and some are speculating that the best of the best could break the $1 million ceiling, and that's where the $1.3 million valuation comes from, not just the market, but potential future appreciation as collectors fight over the last perfect survivors. But that's not all, here's where things get really interesting. Some of these 1963 pennies have what's called mint errors, freak accidents at the mint that created rare anomalies, double dies, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, die cracks. These mistakes turn ordinary coins into sought-after rarities. There's a rumor, confirmed by a few auction listings and private collectors, that a small batch of 1963 no-mint mark pennies were accidentally struck using an older wheat reverse die. That's right, a Lincoln Memorial penny with the wrong back. If you find that unicorn, you could be looking at a payday well beyond $1.30 million. We'll get into how to spot those errors right after this next part. The answer might surprise you. Start with old jars, shoe boxes, coffee tins. Anywhere you or your parents may have stashed spare change in the 70s, 80s, or 90s. Especially if it's been untouched for decades. A 1963 date, no mint mark under the date, especially Lincoln's beard and the steps of the memorial, and if you're really lucky, signs of an error, doubled letters, misalignment, or unusual reverse design. Use a magnifying glass. Seriously. Those tiny imperfections are the difference between 10 cents and 10 zeros. Now, you may be wondering, don't clean it. Never scrub or polish a coin. That can destroy its value instantly. Next, get it evaluated by a professional grading service, either PCGS or NGC. These are the gold standards in the coin world. They'll inspect it, grade it, and encapsulate it in a tamper-proof holder. That's your passport to the $1 Million Club. Once graded, you can list it at auctions like Heritage or Stacksbowers, or go through a private dealer, and yes, there are collectors and investors waiting to snap it up. Rare coins are booming, and values are only going higher. Here's something most people don't realize. With inflation and the rise of alternative assets, coins have become a new form of investment. People are pouring money into rare coins like never before. A once forgotten penny in your drawer could now be worth more than a luxury car or beachfront property, and as time passes, perfect 1963 pennies are only going to get rarer. That's why experts say we're just seeing the beginning of this coin's explosion in value. The next time you pick up a penny, don't dismiss it. Don't toss it in a fountain. Don't slide it across the counter. Minted over 60 years ago, with no mint mark, just sitting in your pocket, could be your ticket to financial freedom. And now, you know exactly how to find it. So hit that like button if you learned something new, subscribe if you want more coin hunting secrets, and share this video with someone who's got a jar full of old change sitting in their garage. You might just change their life or your own. Hey there, fellas. Do you ever find yourself digging through that old coffee can full of change in the garage? Maybe while cleaning out the drawer that's been collecting dust since Clinton's first term? Well, what if I told you that sitting quietly in your pile of pennies could be a small copper coin worth over $1.4 million? Yes, you heard me right. 1 penny. 1 cent worth more than a Lamborghini, a beach house, or a lifetime supply of steak and bourbon. It's the 1994 no-mint mark Memorial Lincoln penny, and today, we're diving deep into how this ordinary-looking coin turned out to be one of the most surprising million-dollar stories in coin collecting history. But stay with me, because by the end of this video, not only will you know exactly what makes this penny so rare and valuable, you'll also learn how to check if your coin is the real deal. And let me tell you, it's a journey full of twists, hidden details, and some very rich surprises. Let's rewind the clock back to 1994. The world was changing fast. Bill Clinton was in the White House, O.J. Simpson was on TV for all the wrong reasons, and gas cost just $1 a gallon. Meanwhile, in the world of coins, the U.S. Mint continued business as usual, pumping out millions of Lincoln Memorial pennies. Now here's where it gets interesting. Most coins minted in Philadelphia have no mint mark, which makes them pretty standard. But what sets this particular 1994 penny apart isn't just the lack of a mint mark. It's a strange combination of errors and conditions that make it an extremely rare find. And the kicker? It looks like just another penny until you look a little closer. So, what exactly makes this penny so valuable? Well, get ready. Because once we get into the details, you're going to want to grab a magnifying glass and start checking every jar and piggy bank you've got at first glance. The 1994 no mint mark Lincoln penny seems like any other. But under scrutiny, collectors have discovered specific rare varieties, especially one with a misstrike that gives it a bold double die error. That means certain parts of the design, Lincoln's face, the words "In God We Trust," or even "Liberty," appear to be printed twice, slightly offset. That subtle doubling, nearly invisible to the untrained eye, is one of the golden tickets in the coin world. Combine that with a clean strike, no signs of wear, and rich red copper luster, and you've got a penny that auction houses and private collectors will fight tooth and nail to. 1994 no mint mark penny with these traits was recently auctioned off at a staggering $1.4 million. And here's the thing. It didn't come from a museum. It came from a private owner who found it tucked away in a forgotten collection. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Could there be another one hiding somewhere in your own house? But that's not all. There's another reason this coin is worth so much, and it goes beyond mint errors or copper purity. Stick with me. Rare coins often rise in value because of demand, but with the 1994 penny, the demand is almost fanatical. Why? Because many collectors are focused on finishing the Lincoln Memorial Cent series from 1959 to 2008. And as more collectors enter the hobby, competition for the rarest pieces intensifies. Everyone wants to be the guy with the coin. We've seen private collectors, hedge fund managers, and even celebrities drop 6 and 7 figures on rare coins. The coin market isn't just a hobby anymore. It's an investment game, and the 1994 no mint mark penny has become one of the hottest commodities in that space. And if you think this coin's moment has passed, think again. Prices are only going up. The last verified sale was $1.4 million. Who knows what the next one might go for? $2 million? Maybe more. Now let's get into how you can spot this penny, because it may already be in your possession. Here's the part you've been waiting for. How can you tell if your 1994 penny is the one? First, flip that penny and check for the mint mark. If it doesn't have a D or an S, that's a start. It means it was minted in Philadelphia. Second, grab a magnifying glass and look closely at Lincoln's profile, especially his eye, jawline, and ear. Then look at the inscriptions. "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" should be crisp. If there's any visible doubling, like a slight ghost image behind the letters, that could be your million-dollar clue. Third, check the color. The most valuable examples are rich red with a lustrous shine. We're talking full red copper, not brown or dull. If it's been handled or scratched, the value drops dramatically. And lastly, get it authenticated. Reputable grading services like PCGS or NGC can verify if your penny is the rare variety. This part's crucial. You don't want to go shouting about your million-dollar find unless the pros have confirmed it. But hold up. What if your penny isn't perfect? Don't worry. Even some lower-grade 1994 no mint mark errors have sold for thousands. Not bad for a coin most folks ignore, but we're not done yet. There's another twist to this story you won't believe. Here's something a lot of people don't know. Not all 1994 pennies were created equal. While most were made from a copper-plated zinc core, a very small number were struck on leftover 95% copper planchets, those older, heavier coins used before 1982. When one of these copper planchet coins gets combined with a rare error, like a double die or off-center strike, you've got something even more valuable. These hybrid error coins are unicorns in the coin collecting world. Now imagine this: you've got a 1994 no mint mark penny that's a copper error, double die, full red, and untouched. You might not just be sitting on $1.4 million, you might be looking at the next coin to set a record at auction. And that leads us to the question every collector asks themselves: how many of these are out there, still hiding? Think about the drawers, jars, and boxes in your home. The old coin jar on your dresser. That toolbox your dad passed down. The cigar box of coins your grandfather swore had some good ones. Most people overlook pennies. They toss them in trays, leave them in cars, or ignore them at the bottom of shopping bags. But what if the next millionaire coin isn't in a museum? It's in your house, your change, your pocket. It's happened before. People have discovered life-changing coins in the most ordinary places. And as more rare coins get found and certified, the ones that remain become even more valuable. So before you give your spare change to the Coinstar machine, take a closer look. You could be one penny away from changing your entire life. So there you have it. The 1994 no mint mark Lincoln penny, quiet, unassuming, yet worth up to $1.4 million. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just a guy who hasn't cleaned out his glove box in 10 years, this coin proves that hidden value is all around us. You just need to know where to look. If you found this video helpful or eye-opening, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more deep dives into rare coins that could be sitting right under your nose. And in the comments below, tell me, what's the oldest or weirdest penny you've ever found? You ever check the change in your pocket and wonder if you might be holding a fortune? Imagine reaching down, pulling out a humble old penny, and discovering it's worth more than your car. Maybe even more than your house. That's not just a dream, it's a reality for a lucky few. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most surprising treasures in the world of rare coins. The 1977 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial Penny. It looks like any regular penny. Tossed around. Forgotten in drawers. Passed through vending machines. But one of these unassuming coins is now worth a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. Stay with me, because we're about to uncover what makes this penny so special, the secrets behind its rarity, and how to spot one that could change your life forever. Let's rewind to 1977. Gasoline was cheap. Elvis Presley had just left the building. And millions of Lincoln pennies were being minted in Philadelphia. But something strange happened. Most coins from Philadelphia in 1977 didn't carry a mint mark. That wasn't an error, it was normal. But within those millions of no mint mark pennies, there were a few different. They were struck on the wrong metal. Or had unusual features. Or survived in pristine, untouched condition, the kind of penny your grandpa might have set aside in a drawer and forgot about. And now, some of those are commanding 6 and even 7-figure prices at auctions. A man in his 60s from Michigan, let's call him Larry, was cleaning out his garage. He found a small wooden box from his childhood. Inside? A stack of old pennies. Most were common. But one stood out. It was shiny, it was untouched, and it was dated 1977. No mint mark. Curious, he took it to a local coin dealer. The man examined it under a scope, leaned back slowly, and looked Larry in the eye. That penny, after expert grading and a full evaluation, was sold at auction for nearly $1.5 million. One coin. One moment. One life changed forever. Let's break it down. First, condition. Coins that have never circulated, especially those in mint state condition, are incredibly rare. That means no scratches, no dents, no wear. Second, errors. Some of these rare 1977 pennies were struck on foreign planchets, basically, the wrong metal disc. Others had doubled dies, off-center strikes, or unusual edge errors, but here's the real kicker: only a few of these rare varieties have ever been found in the wild. That's what sends the value into the stratosphere. Rarity, and when collectors get competitive, when billionaires want to add the rarest penny to their private collections, the bidding gets intense. That's how we get to that $1.5 million price tag. Stay with me, because we're about to cover what to look for and what not to overlook. Grab a magnifying glass in your 1977 pennies. Here's what you want to examine at first: no mint mark under the year. That's normal for Philadelphia pennies of that time. But don't stop there, check the color and the luster. Does it look almost brand new? Bright red tone? That's a sign it hasn't been circulated. Now, the finer details, this is where the treasure hides. Look at Lincoln's eye and jaw. Are they doubled? That could indicate a doubled die error. If something looks just slightly off, don't ignore it. That might be your golden ticket. Let's say you've got a penny that looks promising. Don't just throw it on eBay and hope for the best, you need to have it graded by a professional coin grading service. That's what turns your coin from a curiosity into an investment. The most trusted grading services are PCGS and NGC. These companies evaluate your coin's authenticity, condition, and rarity. They seal it in a protective holder with a grade label. Coins graded MS65 or higher, especially with rare errors or unique metal content, are the ones breaking auction records. Around $30 to $100. But when you're dealing with a coin potentially worth over $1 million, it's the best investment you'll ever make. Right now, the coin market is red hot. Collectors, investors, even celebrities are jumping in. You've got hedge fund managers bidding six figures on nickels. Athletes buying rare dimes as part of their portfolio. Coins are no longer just for old school collectors, they're the new underground asset class. That's why your 1977 penny matters more than ever. Demand is high, supply is low, and the clock is ticking. Especially with the rise of digital auctions, rare coins can go viral overnight. 1 minute it's sitting in your junk drawer, the next minute it's on a live auction in New York, drawing international bids. Gather all your 1977 Lincoln pennies. Look for the ones in the best condition. Inspect them under bright light or with a magnifier. Look for clean surfaces, no mint mark, and any signs of doubling or striking errors. Compare with online images from trusted sources like PCGS. Contact a coin dealer or grading company. Ask for a preliminary opinion before sending it out. Once graded, consider your options. Keep it, sell it, auction it? That depends on your goals. But always get multiple offers. Your first one might not be the best. Let me leave you with this thought right now. Someone, maybe even you, is holding a 1977 penny that looks completely ordinary. It could be sitting in your glove box, inside a mason jar, taped to a scrapbook page, and while you're wondering what to have for lunch, that tiny copper coin could be quietly waiting to make you a millionaire. All it takes is the right eye, the right timing, and the right knowledge. So check your change. Look in those old jars. Open the drawer your dad hasn't touched in 20 years. You could be 1 penny away from everything changing. And if you want more stories like this, make sure you stick around. Because in the next video, we're uncovering another common coin, one you probably already spent, that's now worth over $2 million. Hey fellas, picture this. You're digging through an old jar of change, maybe one that's been sitting on your garage shelf since Clinton was in office. You're about to toss a penny aside when suddenly, wait a second. Something feels off. It's a 2001 Lincoln penny, but there's no mint mark. You shrug, toss it back in. But what if I told you that that very coin could be worth $1.6 million? That's right. One single 2001 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny. 1 cent worth more than a Ferrari, a beach house, and a new life in sunny retirement. Stick with me, because this video is going to take you on a journey through coin history, errors, mint mysteries, collector demand, and exactly why some of these ordinary-looking pennies are anything but ordinary. By the end of this video, you'll know whether the pocket change you forgot about could actually be a jackpot hiding in plain sight. Let's dive in. The Lincoln cent has been with us since 1909. Over a century of history in your palm. Designed by Victor David Brenner, that iconic side profile of Lincoln was a big deal. It was the first time a real historical figure, not Lady Liberty, was put on a US coin. Fast forward to the 1950s and 60s, every American kid was tossing wheat pennies into jars, hoping one day they'd be worth something. Then came the Memorial Reverse in 1959. You know, the one Lincoln seated inside the little marble temple on the back. That design ran through 2008, and 2001 falls smack in the middle. And now here's the thing. 2001 wasn't supposed to be special, but oh, it turned out to be very special. Let's talk mint marks. Usually, pennies made in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark. So at first glance, the 2001 no mint mark penny doesn't seem strange, but here's where it gets juicy. Some of these 2001 no mint mark pennies are different. Very different. The color is off. The weight is slightly lighter or heavier. The metal content isn't what you'd expect. The strike quality, sharper. And even though most 2001 pennies were minted in the billions, literally over 7 billion, somehow, just a few coins slipped through with mysterious traits that caught collectors' attention, and suddenly, that boring penny becomes the belle of the ball. And now you're probably wondering, how can you tell the difference? We're getting there. But first, let me tell you what makes one of these coins skyrocket in value. First, a rare error. We're talking wrong planchet, double die obverse, off-center strikes, or transitional metal content. Second, limited numbers. Scarcity is everything. Third, demand. And believe me, when coin collectors catch wind that only a handful of 2001 no mint mark pennies exist with a certain error or trait, they go absolutely wild. Auctions heat up. Bidding wars erupt. 1 Such 2001 penny, pristine condition, full red luster, confirmed off-metal strike, no mint mark, just sold for $1.6 million. That's not a typo. 1 penny. Over $1 million. But here's the kicker, many more could be out there. In desk drawers, sock drawers, coin jars. Possibly even in your home right now. Now let's talk about Joe from Wisconsin. Retired truck driver, spent most of his days hauling freight across the Midwest. One day, sorting through his coin stash, he spots a strange-looking 2001 penny. Lighter in color. He shrugs, tosses it in a box, and forgets about it. 2 years later, his grandson shows the coin to a local coin dealer. Turns out it was struck on a leftover dime planchet, an error so rare, only a few are known to exist. That single coin changed Joe's retirement forever. He sold it at auction for just over $1.2 million. And then there's Sandra in New Mexico. Found a double-die 2001 penny while cleaning out her late husband's coin collection. She almost spent it at the gas station. Over $800,000. Real people. Real stories. Real money makes you want to grab a magnifying glass, doesn't it? Standard for Philadelphia, but not always ordinary. Check it anyway, should weigh 2.5 grams. If it's lighter or heavier, you might have a wrong planchet coin. Use a magnifier. Look at Lincoln's eye, the word liberty, the date. If there's a shadow like doubling, you're onto something. Slightly silver, golden, or dull brown. Could be a sign of a metal mix-up. Is the detail sharper than usual? Crisp lettering? It may have been struck with higher than normal pressure. If you suspect anything unusual, don't spend it. Get it appraised. Preferably by a PCGS or NGC certified expert, because that penny could be your early retirement. Now here's where things get really intriguing. Multiple numismatic insiders believe there are still over a dozen rare error 2001 no-mint mark pennies yet to be discovered. They've shown up sporadically: estate sales, flea markets, old army footlockers. So the chances? They're slim. But not 0.1 of those undiscovered coins is rumored to be even rarer than the $1 million one that's already been sold. Don't check yet. There's more you need to know. Common 2001 pennies? You'll find them anywhere. They're copper-plated zinc, they're worn down, they weigh 2.5 grams, and they're not shiny anymore, they pop. They have odd features. They don't match others when you put them side by side. Take a few 2001 pennies and line them up. Same light, same background. The rare ones often stand out. Slightly different tone. Slightly better detail. Something just looks off in a good way. Collectors say, trust your gut. If a coin feels special, it might be. If you find something that looks promising, don't just rush to eBay. Big mistake, you want to get it graded and authenticated. Go to PCGS or NGC. These are the two top grading companies in the US. They'll slab the coin, certify the grade, and you'll get a paper trail. After that, auction houses are your best bet. Heritage Auctions, Stacksbauers, Great Collections, these folks have sold coins for millions. They know how to market it, and they attract serious buyers. You don't want someone offering you a couple $100 for $1 million piece. Trust the process, protect your coin, and go through the right channels. I'll bet you're already thinking about the coffee can in the garage. The drawer in your workshop. That jar of pennies in your grandfather's attic, because somewhere out there, a 2001 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is sitting quietly, waiting to be found. Maybe it's worth a cent. Maybe it's worth $1.6 million, and maybe, just maybe, it's already in your hands. So go check. And if you find something special, come back and tell us. This channel is where everyday guys become accidental millionaires. You may want to sit down for this one. Because that little brown penny you've been walking past on the sidewalk or tossing in a change jar might just be the key to a $1.7 million windfall. That's right. Today, we're diving into the incredible story behind the 1975 no-mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny, a coin so rare, so mysterious, and so valuable, it's turning everyday Americans into overnight millionaires. If you're a guy between 30 and 70 who's been collecting coins for years, or maybe just keeping loose change in an old coffee can in the garage, this video could change your life. So stay with me to the very end, because not only will we reveal what makes this coin worth $1.7 million, but I'll also show you how to spot the difference between an ordinary penny and one that can pay off your mortgage. And just wait until you hear what happened to the man who found one in a parking meter tray. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start where all great penny stories begin, with a little copper, a lot of history, and one quiet change in 1975 that nobody saw coming. For most folks, the penny is the most ignored coin in circulation. Worth a single cent, often dirty, sometimes bent, we barely give them a second glance. But here's the thing, the penny has always held secrets. From the very first Lincoln cent in 1909 to the steel versions made during World War II, each design tells a story about America, and sometimes, about rare mistakes that can make a single coin worth more than a Ferrari. Now fast forward to 1975. The US Mint was pumping out billions of pennies. Inflation was rising. Vietnam had just ended. The economy was shifting, and so was coin production. Most pennies were produced at either the Philadelphia Mint or the Denver Mint, but here's where it gets interesting: pennies from Philadelphia are known for having no mint mark. It's their signature move, actually. But in 1975, a microscopic error, or perhaps an intentional limited run, created a batch of no mint mark Lincoln Memorial pennies that stand apart. We're not talking about just missing the mint mark. We're talking about a strange anomaly in weight, strike quality, and metal composition that turned this particular version into something extraordinary. A handful of these coins don't just lack a mint mark, they have unique surface textures, deeper bust imprints of Lincoln, and specific reverse design traits that only trained eyes or lucky hands will notice. The result? A 1975 no mint mark Lincoln penny that has been valued at over $1.7 million at recent auctions. Not because it's just old, but because it's a unicorn in a field of donkeys. And if you're wondering how rare it is, well, less than 10 known examples have ever been authenticated. The average 1975 Lincoln penny is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. But this ultra-rare no mint mark version? Some show signs of double die errors. Others appear to have been struck with misaligned dies or struck on planchets intended for foreign coins. These were mistakes. Beautiful, profitable mistakes. Now imagine you have a drawer full of 1970s pocket change and one of these is hiding inside. It's not a dream, it's a reality for a few lucky collectors who stumbled upon these rare coins without even knowing what they had, but identifying one isn't as simple as checking the year and looking for a missing D or S. There are 3 key indicators that make this version stand out. And we'll get to those in just a minute, but first, let me tell you about the man from Kentucky who turned his curiosity into cash. Back in 2014, a retired mechanic named Joe, 63 years old, was emptying his pocket change into a coin counter at his local grocery store. Among the pile was a well-worn 1975 penny with no mint mark. Something about it felt different. Maybe it was the sharper detail on Lincoln's face. Maybe it was the odd tone of the copper. Instead of spending it, Joe tossed it into his glove box. 6 months later, after watching a YouTube video just like this one, he remembered the coin and took it to a certified numismatist. Authentication. And eventually, an auction sale that brought in $1.68 million. Now he lives comfortably on a 40-acre property, debt-free, and says he still checks his change every single day. Here's where you need to pay close attention. Look closely at the date and the word liberty. On rare examples, you'll see shadow-like doubling caused by a misalignment during the minting process. This is known as a double die obverse. Examine the Lincoln Memorial. On the rarest versions, the pillars are more pronounced, and the spacing between the steps is sharper due to a higher pressure strike. Planchet errors. Some 1975 pennies were mistakenly struck on foreign coin blanks, like Canadian cents, resulting in a slightly thinner or lighter penny. You'll need a scale for this. A normal 1975 penny weighs about 3.11 grams. Anything significantly lighter or heavier is a red flag, in a good way. If your coin checks off all 3 boxes, you may be holding a $1.7 million fortune in your fingers, but don't run off to the pawn shop just yet. First, place it in a soft coin holder, not a plastic bag, and definitely not your wallet. You don't want to damage the surface. Second, take it to a certified coin dealer or numismatist. Look for someone affiliated with the Professional Numismatists Guild or the American Numismatic Association. They'll guide you through authentication. Third, if it checks out, get it graded by PCGS or NGC, 2 of the most trusted third-party grading services. A certified coin with a high grade can sell for significantly more. And finally, contact an auction house, Heritage Auctions, Stacksbowers, or Great Collections. These platforms specialize in rare coins and will get your penny in front of the right eyes. Now, let's wrap this up with something you'll want to hear. The world of rare coins is full of surprises. And every so often, a penny that looks ordinary on the surface turns out to be a life-changer. The 1975 no mint mark Lincoln penny is one of those stories, and you could be the next one to write the ending. So don't underestimate the power of that little coin sitting in a jar on your shelf. Because that jar might just be your retirement plan waiting to be discovered. Subscribe if you want to learn more about valuable coins hiding in plain sight. And remember, the next time you hear that clang of a penny hit the ground, look twice, because the next millionaire could be you.